impossible. Nothing impossible. What can't you do? What won't you do? There's nothing impossible with our God. You do not lie, you do not fail. What is hard for you? He doesn't exist. It don't ever exist. So hello. Good morning, hello everyone. Hello. Hello and welcome to Reflections 101 with me, Akosia Deborah Quayson. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for coming out this morning and to join in on the last episode of the Grace series right here on the Reflections 101 show. If today is the very first time you're tuning into the show and to the channel, I think you've missed out on a lot of goodies that we have actually experienced during the couple of weeks back, and especially in the month of July, where we got to talk about the concept of grace, appreciate what it is in our lives, just opposing it to a hard work as well. And then we also got to appreciate the timings that come with grace, And then today on the show, we're going to be learning something that I have personally dubbed the parable of grace. So maybe if you go on to the Bible section, the parable of grace, you might not find anything of the sort, but right here on the Reflections 101 show, so I'm going to be telling you something about the parable of grace. And my case study for today will be Professor Nana Aba Apia Amfo, who is the currently acting, who is going to be the acting Vice Chancellor of one of the most prestigious universities right here in Ghana, the University of Ghana. So let's dive right into it, shall we? Please, if you've connected, I'm grateful. Thank you so much for tuning in and thank you for coming out. I love to know where you're watching us from. Is the feedback okay? Is our lighting good? Setup technical? Anything at all? I'd love to hear from you in the comment section. And as we go about to learn for today's reflections, as we get to reflect, if there's anything that hits you real deep, if there's any reflective message, that kind of turns something on the inside of you on and pricks you, and you would want to leave the comments in the comment section so that others can also chance on it to be, and it can also be an impactful time for them, right? So in a couple of hours, since our case studies, Professor Nana Aba Apia Amfo, in a couple of hours or maybe a day or two, we'll be having our very first Vice Chancellor. Professor Nana Aba would swing into her office, take up her position as the very first lady Vice Chancellor of the University of Ghana. And I think it's such a great feat. And I think that it's no mean feat. Yes, indeed, Professor Rita Akusa Dixon was also a phenomenal one as well. But there's something about Professor Nana Aba that really hits me. And I don't know, I think when she came into the trend a couple of days back, her issue was trending as a first appointed acting, yet to act on the 1st of August 2021. So it was really great, and I decided to search on her because something on the inside of me began to thicken. A couple of people, my siblings, a couple of people sent me this very her CV and everything, so I decided to Google her up. And as I read, I just chanced on the fact that as a young lady, she will be the youngest. I mean, this year she will be 50. And even in August, when she takes over the position, she would not yet have turned 50. She would still be 49. 49 years old. And I mean, it's so incredible, and that's why it takes me a lot. So reading about her, I got to appreciate the fact that in 2001, when she completed her MPhil, she at the end of the day, she picked up the lectureship position at the University of Ghana. Immediately she finished her MPhil. Like, whoa, that was great. And in 2007, when she was done with her PhD, she also went ahead to pick up, the senior, she was promoted to the senior lecturer position, and which is no mean feat at all. Then, in Ghana here, when women kind of climb the professional ladder, we are quick to say, oh, yes, they climb all the ladders, the professional ladders, but their family get to suffer. Their marriages don't thrive, things don't go well in other areas. But, this hasn't been the case for our very own Professor Nana Apia Amfo. She has an incredible marriage. If you listen to her, if you listen to any of her interviews, if you've even heard from her husband, you'd be able to detect that no, she's also trying to juggle everything and create a balance in the home right well, together with her 3 kids, right? So I'm like, woo, that is serious. So for a woman to have beat all the gentlemen, done well as a pro-vice chancellor, academic affairs directorate, excelled, in that particular field, and at the end of the day, come up tops. I was reflecting, my brother, I kept on reflecting. I reflected, and I kind of thought about the days that I came home from work and I had to lock myself up in my room because my kids were exhausting me extra more. And sometimes you're super tired. You're really, really tired of saying, hey, stop this, hey, do that, hey, this. So I have 2 toddlers and it's not been easy. So it's come to think of 3 and, juggle everything through. I was just wondering, oh gosh, can I do this? Can I also, be excellent in my craft? Can I be good at what I pursue myself, pursue to do and all that? And I kept thinking. Then at the point something hit, it hit me real hard. And the voice that came so strong says that God will not hold you to somebody else's standard of grace. God will only hold you to your standard of grace. Only your standard of grace. So like, woo. I need to sip on that, like I need to marinate on that a little bit. So as I took it down a little slowly, and if I want to break it down for you, so it just happens to be that Ephesians 4:7 also came through, and the scripture that says that God has given to everyone a gift of grace. God has given to everyone grace according to the gift of God. Then it just hits me, and I just began to read a little bit on that as well and discovered that, so God has given everybody a certain measure of grace. So maybe to someone watching now, you're in your particular field, God has actually given you a certain measure of grace. There's a certain measure. If it's 1 olonka, God has given it to you. If it could be 2 glasses of grace. It could be 5 glasses. It could be 10 kilograms. Whatever weight you are used to, that's the kind of grace that God has actually given for you to function in that very field that you find yourself, in that very environment that you find yourself. So there's a unique measure of grace God gives to everybody. But you know what? The truth of the matter is that then, I think that sometimes, we kind of measure ourselves to somebody else's standard of grace, and it weighs us down. Sometimes we compare ourselves to other people and how they are excelling in their crafts and in their field, and how they've mastered whatever they are doing, and we feel intimidated, we feel not good enough, we feel cut short of grace. But that is totally not the case at all. God has given you a special measure of grace, unique to you and unique to your task. The funny thing about life is that whenever that God crafts a man, or puts together a man, knits together a man, he predestines the person. And so your destiny has already been chosen by a supreme God. Can you imagine that? Your destiny has already put together. Whatever assignment and call has already been knit together. And so is that particular cup of grace for every single step that you are. Isn't that amazing? Isn't that amazing? So that means that when Professor Nanaba Apianfo was probably at my kind of level, maybe she also got my 2 ounces of grace, and that is great. That is great. So that is very great. Then once you go a step further, then God grants extra. For whatever level that you are, God just gives the perfect measure of grace. The perfect measure of grace that you need to be able to move through, to be able to juggle through, to be able to function. So that operational grace is available only unto you. Remember the parable of the talent. It's the same thing, and sometimes we work ourselves over. So work it at your grace. Just work it at your level of grace, because God will not hold you to somebody else's standard of grace. God will only hold you to your kind of standard of grace. You get what I mean? So imagine that God gives somebody 10 ounces, person A, 10 ounces of grace, person B, 5 ounces of grace, and person C, 2 ounces of grace. Sometimes, if you're not careful, what could happen is that 2 ounces of grace will always be intimidated when he sees 10 ounces of grace and be like, oh gosh, why don't I have just 10 ounces of grace to be able to do what I have to do? But 10 ounces of grace may break you. You just need 2, and so 2 will be enough. But if you're not careful, scripture says that comparing yourselves to one another, ye are not wise. So then what is wisdom? Wisdom will be 2 ounces of grace, accepting that, oh, I need 2 ounces of grace for this level. If I need another 3 ounces, I'll step up my game and I'll get that 3 ounces. So I pick my 2, I work it at my level. Charlie, work it at your level. You are currently not the principal nurse. Work it at your level, man, and do good where you find yourself. Maybe you are just the chief usherette for now. Work it at your level. Maybe you have that annoying husband at home, and you're trying everything, you're doing everything you can to attract his attention. You're being respectful, you're being grateful, you're being frank with him, you're being great, submissive, everything that you can think about, but it's still not working through. Still work it at the level. Don't compare yourself to maybe somebody else that has a great marriage, has lasted 15 years and yours is just 2 years, and you're comparing yourselves and you're getting worked out over it. You have grace for that very level. Don't stress it. You have grace for that very level. However, what some of us do is that, Bible says that no temptation has overcome man except that which is common to man. It's common because that grace to operate at that level has been given unto you. And sometimes we weigh ourselves down and we don't step into the level for the grace to be released. And we are thinking that, God, if only you give me this grace. God, if only you give me grace for parenting, I'll give birth to another one. But you know what? God is expecting you to take a leap of faith. Get the 3, get the school going, get the new job, start that venture, get that associate running, do something for yourself, put in that request, put in that proposal, write that application. God is expecting, speak to that girl that you admire, and he will release the grace, of course. He releases the grace for the level that you've entered into. So I just want to encourage you this morning. I know that you've picked up some few nuggets. Work it at your level. Can you type in the comment section, work it at your level? I'm a work it at my level, I'm a work it at my level, because I know that when God takes me to the next level, it's going to be supernatural and it's going to be great. So Charlie, work it at your level. Charlie, work it at your level. Work it at your... Don't stress, no stress, Charlie. Work it at the level. Maybe you have 3 kids, maybe you have 4 kids, you have no mom, you have no support, and You think that you can do without a house help. There's grace release. Work it at your level. Work it at your level. Maybe you have multiple businesses running. Work it at your level. Work it at your level. Don't stress. God has given a measure of grace for everybody, unique to your own calling and divine assignment. Thank you so much for tuning in once again to the Reflections 101 show. I'm very thankful. Yesterday we had a technical hitch, but it came out yet today once again. Please do leave a message behind if you've been blessed. Slide into my DM. Let's talk if you have any issues. And I pray for grace for anybody who is trying to achieve something, who is, trying to work it at the level and it's not working out. Continue in that measure. It's absolutely the one that you need. And God will release more the more you step ahead. You're blessed, you're loved, you're special. And I hope you be aware of that. Don't stress at all. Have a fantastic day. See you on next week right here on the show. So I'll be coming your way on Wednesdays 8:30 a.m. with Reflections 101. Something packed for next week. Let's see how it goes. Have a wonderful day. Thank you so much, Isaac Mensa, for always having our back. Thank you, Jordan. Thank you, Kojo Conscience. Thank you so much, Josephine. Atahene, Salome. I see everybody that came out to support and to listen, to be blessed as well. Please remember, press the share button before you go so others can also tune in. Okay, so ciao, ciao, and have a wonderful day.